I chose to evaluate generalization in a child's oppositional behavior across home and school settings by Wahler and Vigilante. The effect of adult behavior on the frequency in oppositional behaviors of a 9-year-old male was measured, and the article explores the effects of implementing a parent training on these oppositional behaviors from the child, as well as seeing how inappropriate attention from the mother affects this child's oppositional behavior in the home and in school, so 2 settings. The article is addressing contingency management. It's very socially relevant because it's beneficial across multiple contexts, not just in home, but it also would tell us about how parents need to act in general so that their kids can have the most success. So the child was 9 years old, and his mother and his teacher were also involved. His mother was 30 years old, single, and his teacher was 35 years old with 12 years of work experience. There are 2 dependent variables in this experiment. One is the frequency of oppositional behaviors in home, and the other is the frequency of oppositional behaviors in school. Each dependent variable was measured with a procedure with quantifiable measures. So they were used intervals of 15 seconds, and then there was partial interval recording where if the child engaged in oppositional behaviors during that entire interval or at all in that entire interval, it would be marked as yes, the behavior did occur in the interval. The experiment involved a baseline phase, a parent training phase, a follow-up phase, and another parent training phase to see how this training and this parent attention would affect this child's oppositional behavior. And the results showed that it did only in home settings. So Harry's oppositional behavior showed a reduction over the course of the initial training, but went back down to baseline, and there was no maintenance until booster sessions. So his oppositional behavior at home showed an inverse and opposite result on school behavior, as reductions in opposition at home were associated with higher levels of opposition at school, or at least no reduction in those oppositional behaviors. So this was consistent across multiple phases, and after Harry's mother received this training, Harry's opposition decreased at home while it did not at school. So that's the general overview. When it comes to my evaluation of this study, I think that it's unclear whether parent training is the implemented change or if it's the manipulation of the mother's attention. I think that it's not completely accurately measuring if this training technique is beneficial or if it's more so levels of involvement of the mother. So in order to have actual control over the mother behavior, you would need to measure the behavior on days where the student has fewer levels of inappropriate attention and see how the data relates. Implementing a training program does not accurately measure only a change in the mother's attention, but also evaluates the effectiveness of the training technique.